This is the film analysis sheet. And on it you have various categories like plot, character, setting, dialogue, themes, symbols, and music, and camera. The plot section of it, that's obvious, that's the story, the plot. The story, the basic story. You can summarize that in a few sentences. The characters, dialogue. You know what that is. Who are the characters and what's their relationship to one another? The setting is, what's setting? Samiha, what's setting? Okay, and well, and what more might be involved in that? Cultural setting. You know, if you watch a film and you don't know anything about where it's taking place or why it's taking place there or anything about the culture in which it's taking place, you might learn something, but you wouldn't get the whole story from that. So setting, time and place. In this case, it takes place in New York in the 19th initially and the 21st century. Well, why 2 centuries? Well, that'll become obvious when we talk about themes. Because the themes in this, one of which is reincarnation. It's the story of a relationship that takes place in the Ondokosunju Museum in the 19th century, and then the reincarnation of those people in Yerimi Birinji Museum now. And it takes, the setting is New York. So in order to completely understand this film, you'd have to know something about themes. So it doesn't get confusing about why people are appearing in different centuries. But that's the connection between theme and setting. The dialogue. Well, there's a lot of dialogue in the film, so you can't write all the dialogue. But there are certain things in this film that are memorable, quotable statements that the actors make about the nature of life and the nature of the human soul and the nature of reincarnation that are very memorable, philosophical, gold, pieces of gold. See if you can get some of those. Important lines, quotable quotes, those kinds of things. For dialogue. We already said something about themes. There are others. And I'll write these out for you. But the themes include, we said reincarnation. Does anybody know what reincarnation is?
Yes.
What's reincarnation?
Born again in a different form.
Born again in a different life, different new life, or perhaps a different form. The other themes are miracles. This theme presents the argument. This film presents the argument that we get used to living daily life and thinking that things just kind of go on as they are. That actually behind every event is a miracle. Life is a miracle. And the events that take place and the things that happen to us in life are not an accident. There is a much bigger plan behind all of this. And our job in life is to discover what that is, if we can. So, reincarnation, miracles, and symbols. Can anyone tell me what a symbol is? What's a symbol? A symbol.
Repeat, please.
A symbol? S-Y-M-B-O-L. A
Yes.
symbol. What is a name? What is it?
Feeling. Thing, maybe.
Well, yeah, it could be a thing. I mean, anything might be a symbol because
Yes.
a symbol points to something, to a much bigger reality. Like the light. one of the symbols, one of the big symbols in this film is light. Light, well, you could say it's just light. You know, you turn it on, you walk around, you can see things. It's just light. But no, if you think back to world cultural traditions in philosophy and religion, light has a much bigger meaning. Light, it's a symbol of goodness, a symbol of divinity, a symbol of what? Those would be two good choices. Something much bigger beyond this little light bulb that we have in the ceiling here. But this points to something much bigger beyond it, a symbol. So, for example, this could be a symbol. If it points to something much bigger beyond it, what does it point to? Well, on this level, it's just a bottle of water. You know, you buy these all the time. Drink water all the time. It's just water. But what if this becomes a symbol of a much bigger version of this? A symbol of water as the source of life. The thing around which all civilizations built themselves. The major earlier civilizations were river civilizations. They built themselves near water, the source of life and transportation. You can grow crops with it. You can travel on it. This isn't just a bottle of water. This is a symbol of life. Do you see what I mean about a symbol? And you could do that with almost any object, like M&A's pen. We all use the pen. We have 4 or 5 of them in our purse, our chanta, our bag.
But it's my color, purple.
And it's a purple, and it's specific to M&A because she really likes purple. But if we think of this as a symbol, what could be the bigger meaning of this? What's a bigger meaning of this?
Feeling.
Writing, you mean? It's a symbol, it could be a symbol of human literacy. The ability to write and use written language. The means by which culture is transmitted from one generation to the next. I built this, I chose this film because the entire film is built around these themes. So the question is, what does this have to do with presentation skills? Well, what I'm going to ask you to do is become a film critic, a film analyst today. Analyze the film, and then I'm going to ask you to present this to the class in an in-class, spontaneous presentation in which you summarize for us your understanding of how this film works. Well, what about music? Think of the films that you've seen and think about how music is used. Do they just take a soundtrack and throw it on there just to have something in the background? No. No, they don't. They choose music and write music specifically to magnify and bring out the themes. The music has significance. And this, I've written this on the board. This is the main theme. This is what it looks like in Western notation, musical notation, in 3/4 time. But this theme is the basis for the music for the entire film, and all of the different variations on this are fit to the characters, fit to the themes. It's almost to the point of being Wagnerian leitmotif. A German composer, 19th century composer named Richard Wagner did that. He had certain themes for certain characters, and when those characters interacted, those themes would interact in the music. Something like that is going on here. So when you think about music, what I'd like you to do is be aware of exactly how music is being used in this film. because this is a very dramatic, very romantic film. And you can hear that in this initial theme. La da dee da 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 dee da, la da 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 dee da da. Remember that theme, because that theme echoes throughout this entire film and organizes the relationship of the characters, expresses the emotion that the characters are expressing. The person who wrote this film score understood the content of the film script, just like an actor would. Researched it just like an actor would. Understand the emotional relationship between all of the characters, and then write the music to reflect that. So I want you to be aware of that. It's very carefully constructed filmmaking. Nothing is left to chance. And the camera, well, most of us aren't professional camera crew people, but I want you to get a sense of what the camera crew is doing here with angle, distance, timing, and space, and how they're using the camera to magnify the emotional expressions of the actors. If you take a close-up here, the emotional content of that is going to be much different than if it's back here. If you take it here, this has a powerful effect on the audience, because don't forget, in a theater, the actor's head is twice the size of this wall. And if you're sitting there watching that, anything they do affects you emotionally. Emotion that passes through their eyes, you can see it. So I want you to become more aware of what it looks like on the other side of the camera, and the techniques that are being used to make maximum effect of the emotional content. Angles, space, timing, also overhead shots. This film has overhead shooting straight down on the scene. Why would they choose to do that? There is a reason for everything. This is very well thought out. And also I want you to notice the use of CGI. Well, what's CGI? CGI, computer-generated images. CGI. You've seen those. You all watch. I know you all watch ISDA, the internet film websites. CGI. Look at how they use CGI. They had a CGI expert on the staff who took the basic footage of the film that comes from real footage from a camera and then structured in computer-generated images over the top of that. You'll see how it'll be obvious when they start doing that. But the question is, how did they use CGI to magnify the themes and the emotion of this? All of these things together are used to magnify the impact of these themes. Romance, tragedy, drama, victory. And the people who are doing this in this film are experts at that. They know they're master psychologists. They know exactly how to affect human emotion. So what I'd like to do is to go ahead and show you the first part of the film. And we'll try to get all of it in today. And while we're doing that, you can take notes, while it's happening, because it's hard to. The further you get into the film, it's hard to remember exactly what happened when. So please have a pen and your. Does everybody have a sheet? Does everyone have a film analysis sheet? Okay. And then later, at the end of the class, I will ask some of you to stand up and give a film analysis of it. Be a film critic. And explain to us what you saw and how these categories make this film powerful.